Game of Thrones is filled with so many memorable characters. Oftentimes, our perception of the character changes throughout the seasons. We start to hate characters that seem so pure and innocent and end up sympathizing with many who were at once pure evil. And no man fits the latter progression better than Jaime Lannister. For us as the audience, Jaime Lannister is the first villain we get. Even though we understand that the Lannister family is shady as a whole, Jaime pulls the trigger first by pushing Bran from the tower. From this scene alone, we learn to hate him. But the series gives all its efforts in every subsequent episode to make us empathize with this character. I will now analyze what Jaime Lannister meant for the story and, more importantly, what his character represents. This is the point of Jaime Lannister, and you are watching the Man of Movies. From the very first episode, we are led to believe things about this man that are not true. In fact, he is a walking, talking contradiction. For one, he is introduced as one of the most handsome men in all of Westeros. With his golden hair and broad frame, he channels a Prince Charming kind of feeling. However, throughout the first episode, we see how that is not the case. His first scene with Cersei, scheming after the death of Jon Arryn. In addition to that, he comes off as an extremely cocky yet insecure man who feels the need to size up everyone he talks to. Even the conversations he has with Jon, although looks like a caring advice in retrospect, comes off as arrogant and dominant. Another detail we have to understand about Jaime is how much he hates being called a Kingslayer. At first, his name comes off as a cool and powerful nickname, but we see that it is being used as an insult to him for stabbing his king in the back. Though he puts on an act that he does not care about this, he is deeply offended by it, and this distaste slips out in many scenes before Jaime is able to control it. He is insulted by the insinuation that he is a coward and craves for the respect from his peers. We can see this clearly when Ned Stark insults him. Here, Jaime is clearly angry with such remarks, and we understand that an insult from Ned Stark cuts deep. This can also be seen when he fights with Ned and gets annoyed when his subordinate helps him. We see that there are traces of honor and ethics in this character, but it is overshadowed by his negatives. And this is most apparent when Cersei is involved. You see, even though this relationship is deeply troubling and can evoke only disgust from the viewers, it is not portrayed as such. In fact, Jaime's feelings are shown to be very pure. He loves Cersei deeply, even claiming that he has never been with another woman. We see that Cersei often claims that they understand each other more than anyone else, and this is the source of Jaime's attachment to her. We can see that he is often the cause of envy amongst his people and is not truly understood by anyone else. Even Tywin, who reads people like a book, does not empathize with Jaime. Throughout various dialogue, we also get to know that Jaime once suffered from difficulty with reading, maybe dyslexia, and his father straightened him out. This may have caused him to struggle within the family as well. Here, even someone as cold hearted as Cersei can come off as good and pure. This is the main conflict with Jaime Lannister. Even though he yearns for honor and bravery, he is pushed into often cowardly acts and self deprecating behaviors due to his loyalty to Cersei. He has a kind of addictive attachment to Cersei, and this addiction is the reason for these constant oscillations between good and bad decisions in his life. This is where the story starts for him, and it is this journey of a 12-step program to fix his life from this addiction that makes his story arc so compelling. The catalyst for this distance between him and Cersei comes due to his time in captivity. Here he is chained and kept in dirt. He is broken down and all his glamour stripped away from him. Here all the facade of this man is taken away and we see him in his most real form. Someone who is deeply ashamed of what has been made of his life. To get back to his temporary relief, he even kills his own blood to have a chance at getting back to Cersei. We feel like he is someone who cannot sustain himself without having Cersei around him all the time. We can see these feelings and desires within him by the way he admires Ned Stark and Sir Barristan, but cannot live an honorable life like they did. This is often overlooked in pursuit of being with Cersei. This tendency to leave behind his life goals and duties for the substance of pleasure is often seen in addicts, and Jamie portrays this beautifully. His spiritual awakening and change happens when he starts his journey with Brienne. Here we can see that he is left to go back by the mercy and desperation of Catelyn Stark, and he does not take it well. Here he questions himself and feels somewhat of an admiration to this woman. Her honor and loyalty to her first fallen king and now Catelyn Stark is very much a wake-up call for him. He tries to fight against these feelings by the use of mockery, and in the end, he even tries to break free as a sign of resistance to change. He shows some signs of denial here by trying to make himself the Kingslayer and not strive to be the warrior he wants to be. The biggest change for him happens at the end of this journey. He is caught by Bolton's men, and this leads to him losing his hand. In the beginning of the scene, it comes off as though he is safe. He uses his family name and manipulative tricks to weasel his way out of it. However, reality strikes him, and he loses his right hand. This is the point of realization for him that all the choices that he had made in his life has led to this moment. In this moment, he lost the opportunity to be amongst the greats like he dreamed, all because he could not stay away from the dirty business of the Lannister family. A piece of him has been chipped away for how passive he was in his own life. From here on out, we explore the weakness and vulnerability of his character. He is asked whether all the evil he had committed in his life has been of any value. After this, we get to the core of his character, the realization that everything we had learned about him and our perception of him has been poisoned with one lie. He did not slay the king for himself. Throughout the whole series, we had been led to believe that he was a selfish person who was merely controlled by Cersei, but this was not the case. When he talks to Brienne, we see how much of him has been destroyed. Unlike his father, he did not want to go behind the Mad King's back. He did not go against him to be on the winning side. He simply did not want to see the city burned down by a tyrant. He wanted to do what he did honorably by giving mercy to the Mad King. However, his circumstances had pushed him to be the Kingslayer. Here, the visual language used is great. Jaime Lannister looking crippled and dirty within the bath, the dirt and debris on his body slowly escaping as he confessed to what he truly is. As though he is being baptized, his past life is washed away as he takes on a new identity. At the end of the scene, when Brienne still calls him the Kingslayer, he responds by saying that his name is Jaime. This tells us that he is finally ready to change himself and throw away the evil exterior that he has built around him to protect his family. Even though he did what he had to do, it earned him a bad reputation, and now he realizes that he has done all this to cover up his pain from it. Lastly, what I wanted to touch on was his role as a father. We understand from the series that he has fathered three illegitimate children with Cersei. Here we see that he was not able to play the role of a father and is sidelined for just the dirty work it takes to keep them protected. He is unable to give them care and concern they truly require, and this is all due to the nature of the relationship he had with Cersei. His role here gives us a new perspective on why his desires led to his downfall. As his desires are for Cersei, and he had several children with her, we understand that anything born out of such an addiction is destructive. He is not able to enjoy the pleasure of being a father, and his children grow up in dysfunctional homes. He has to watch his daughter die in his arms and watch his firstborn burn down the city he fought to secure, all because he could not control himself with Cersei. Even though he wants to care for them, it is impossible. By the end of the series, we can see that Jaime detaches himself from Cersei more and more, at least emotionally. We see him improve as a character and garner respect from various characters and viewers. In the end, this was a tale of choosing one's duty and values over the temporary and damaging pleasures that are offered to us. He was able to reject his impulses, and that gave us one of the best characters of Game of Thrones. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.